All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle what might just be the biggest, most personal mystery of all: consciousness. It's that simple fact that you and I experience, well, anything. And yet, as you're about to see, trying to explain it is anything but simple.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of what we're doing. It's so tempting to want a neat, simple answer to this whole consciousness thing. But what this idea is telling us is that the real goal isn't to find a solution. It's to truly, deeply understand the problem itself in all its mind-bending glory.
So, okay, what is the problem really? We're not looking for easy answers in this explainer. Instead, our whole goal is to guide you into what the source material calls a welcome perplexity. You know, that feeling of being a little confused, which is actually a sign that you're starting to get just how deep this question goes. You know, to get to the core of this, we don't actually need to start with some super complicated brain science or dense philosophy. Nope, we can start with something incredibly simple, like a pencil. Seriously, think about it. On one hand, you've got the physical pencil. It's made of wood and graphite, it's public, anyone can see it, and we can measure its length, its weight, it's out there. But then there's your experience of the pencil, the particular shade of yellow you see, the way the wood feels against your skin, a random memory it might spark. That whole experience is totally private. It's subjective. It's in here.
And this quote, wow, it just nails the mystery in this beautiful, almost poetic way. How do we get from the objective world of pencils and brains, that physical wooden box, to the rich, colorful, subjective inner world of experience, the brilliant beetle? Bridging that gap, that is the problem of consciousness. So, how have people tried to crack this puzzle over the years? Well, for a really long time, the most popular answer was actually pretty simple. People just said, hey, maybe the world isn't made of one kind of thing, but two. It's a pretty intuitive way to explain both the physical world and our mental world, right?
This idea got its most famous champion in the 17th century, the philosopher René Descartes. He gave it a formal name, substance dualism. He basically proposed that reality is split in two. There's res extensa, which is just physical stuff that takes up space, and then there's res cogitans, which is unextended thinking stuff. So your body is physical stuff, but your mind, that's mental stuff.
And how did he get there? Through his famous thought experiment. He started doubting everything. He said, look, I can doubt my body exists, I can doubt this pencil exists, the whole world could be a dream. But the one thing he realized he absolutely could not doubt was the fact that he was the one doing the doubting. The very act of thinking proved his own existence as a thinking thing.
Okay, so this whole two stuffs idea seems pretty neat, right? It separates the physical from the mental. But it creates a huge and what a lot of people think is a fatal problem of its own. And that brings us to the killer question, the problem of interaction. If your mind is made of some kind of non-physical thought stuff, how in the world does it make your physical arm reach out and grab a pencil? How does a ghost pull the levers on a machine? It's a puzzle that dualism has never really been able to solve. Fast forward to the 20th century, and a philosopher named Gilbert Ryle comes along and gives this whole problem a name you'll never forget. He said this whole idea of a separate mind controlling the body was basically a belief in the dogma of the ghost in the machine. He called it a category mistake. Here's what he meant. Imagine I give you a tour of a university. I show you the libraries, the labs, the classrooms, and at the end you say, okay, that's all great, but where is the university? You'd be making a category mistake. The university isn't another building alongside the others, it's the whole system. Ryle said we do the same thing with the mind. We're looking for this extra thing called the mind, when maybe it's just what the brain does. So today, you'll find that most scientists and philosophers, they've kind of moved on from that classic substance dualism. They've kicked the ghost out of the house. But here's the thing. Getting rid of the ghost hasn't gotten rid of the mystery. Not at all.
Okay, so what are the modern alternatives? Well, you've got ideas like property dualism, which says, okay, there's only one kind of stuff, physical stuff, but it can have two totally different kinds of properties, physical ones like mass and mental ones like the experience of red. Others say, look, we just haven't figured out the laws of physics that connect brain events to experience yet. But do you see the pattern? Even without the ghost, that fundamental gap between what our brain is doing and what we are experiencing, it's still there. It's still the central puzzle.
And this is where things get really interesting, because we're going to pivot. From all these big theories and brain science to the only place any of us can actually observe consciousness, inside ourselves.
Yeah, the source material for this really pushes for this kind of personal look in. It's a huge part of understanding the problem. So let's just pause the theorizing for a moment and just observe. What is it actually like to be you right this second?
Let's actually try it, right now. Just ask yourself that simple question. Am I conscious now? And don't just answer yes in your head. For just a moment, actually look. See what you find. What's the quality of that awareness you just tapped into? So if you just did that and it felt weird or kind of hard to get a grip on, don't worry. You are in very, very good company. As the writer Franz Kafka puts it here, trying to grasp your own consciousness can feel like trying to grab a handful of fog. The fact that it's so hard to describe is part of the mystery itself. And that really brings us to our final thought here, and it's a provocative one. Grappling with this mystery isn't just some abstract academic game. As the source material warns, if you take it seriously, if you really start to investigate your own first-person experience, it has the potential to fundamentally change how you see yourself, your mind, and your place in the world. And that's a journey worth taking.